In this video, I'm going to be showing you the very basics of using Supabase. Now the question is, what is Supabase? And Supabase is described as an open source backend as a service, that's BaaS platform that provides developers with a suite of tools for building web and mobile apps centered around powerful PostgreSQL database. Now it acts as a Firebase alternative. That's already introducing you. It's an alternative to Google's Firebase platform and also Google's cloud, that's Google Cloud Services. And Supabase is not the only open source platform for a backend. You also have Upright and you have Pocket Base. But there are others too. You have Amazon's Amplify and you also have Digital Ocean. All of these do the same thing like Supabase. But the advantage that Supabase has is that it's very, very easy to learn. So you can use Firebase, you can use Upright, Pocket Base, Amplify, and the others. But we are going to focus on Supabase today. The first thing you need to do is either to start your project or to sign in. Now, to start your project, you need to first create an account. Click on Start Your Project. And you'll be prompted. You can either continue using GitHub or single sign-on. I'm going to just put my email and my password here and I'm going to sign up. When you confirm your email verification, you are immediately brought to this. You can name your organization anything or automatically it brings it to the name of your email, but you can name it anything. You can just see YT test 2020 2026, and then the type personal, and then we're using the free plan for this, but there is a pro plan for $25 a month. There's also the team plan for $5.99. We're going to create an organization. Now that the organization is created, we are supposed to create a project. So we have to give it a project name. Let's just see test project, and then you give it a database password. The database password can be anything. I'll just give it the password. I'll just say it's similar to commonly used password. I will change the password. I'll just put anything. So make it very long. Make it as long as possible. And you can choose your region. This is the place that is closest to your customers. I can just choose, let's say, Americas. And I'll create the project. We are now brought to the back end of Supabase. I have 0 tables, 0 functions, 0 replicas. And if you come to this side, this is where the juicy stuff happens. Now, since you've created a project, you can view your project settings here. Let's come to that later on. So this is a table editor. And you can see the SQL editor here. So the table editor is where you create tables from scratch. You can create a new table here from scratch. I'll just click on table. I can name the table and then I can start adding fields. I'll close that. And then the SQL editor, for this, you just write some code, use some SQL code, and you paste it here to create your table. And for this, databases, authentication, all of this, we're going to come to all of this very shortly. But the basics of Supabase is creating tables. So we want to create a table using Supabase. Now look at this. You see storage, edge functions, real-time, all of that. We'll not go into all of that because this is just a basics video. Now I want us to start by creating tables manually. So we'll come to the table editor and you see there's no table here yet. So the first thing we need to do is to create a new table. Let's just name it. I've created these tables here using Gemini. I will just name it profile. So this is a profiles table. I'll come here. I want to name these profiles. You can give it a description, but it's optional. And then you want to start adding fields. So the first field we see here is the ID field, which is the data type is UUID, and it's a primary. So if we come here, we already see this. it's by default, and I want to change this to UUID, which is here. Next field, updated at, and then the data type will be timestamp, updated at, and then the default value will be timestamp. Where is that? Let's go down. For some reason, it's difficult for me to. I'll just search a timestamp. You know, there are two different timestamps. There's timestamp, date time, no time zone. Timestamps, date time included in the time zone. So we don't need the time zone for now. I'll put it at that. And then you can just leave the default value the way it is. You don't need to add those. And then we can come. I'll close that. Username should be text. I'll paste the text there, username, and it should be text. Now for this, which updated at, we can give it the default value of now. And then we can add another column, and we can see where's the profiles table. Full name should be text, and avatar URL, of course, should be text. Full name, I'll paste that there. Avatar URL, I'll also paste that there. And both of them should be text, since your name is text, and should also be text. You can also import data from a CSV file, and you can add foreign key relation. I'll not go into that. This is an advanced feature, but you can generate policies. This is unable. We couldn't detect any relationship to the odd users to suggest policy. Let me look at policy settings, schema, and all of that. Let's put a schema only, confirm, and then I'll try generating again. And it's going to generate a policy. Now, this policy is policy who can read and write. There's what we call role level security. And role level security basically is a powerful Postgres feature that lets you define granular access rules like who can insert, update, or delete, that who can CRUD. So it ensures that only authorized users are able to create, to have access to your database, or to add information, to add rows and all of that. So it's created a policy that's a read, own, public, insert, update, and delete. So you can change this, you can delete this, and you can add your own private policy. You can just ask ChatGPT, you want to create a policy, row level policy for Supabase, and it's going to generate that for you. So you can just click on save. I'll click on save, and it's going to create my table. Now, when it creates the table, you're going to see it under tables, and you can even manually add information there. So this is the table. So when you add any information, look at insert, you can insert a row, you can insert a column, and all of that. So we're not going to do this manually. You can also import data from CSV. The next thing, we want to try to use the SQL editor to generate a table with row level security. So I'm just going to ask Gemini to give me the SQL code. I've now gone ahead and asked Gemini for the same tables, generate the SQL code that I can run on the SQL editor to create the tables, as well as RLS, which is row level security. And this is the table. It's going to give me the same output as this up here, but it's a lot simpler. It's more automatic. It's not as manual as the other. So I'll copy this, come back to the SQL editor. I'll just paste this here. And when I run, if it shows success, then it means that the tables have been created. I'll run that now. It says failed to run, relation profiles already exist. All right. The reason is that this table already exists. So what we can do is that I can delete this table. I want to delete this table, and then I just create everything from scratch. I've deleted that. I hope I haven't added anything extra. You know what? I'll just remove all of this and then just enter it again. Now I'll run. Error. Relation profiles already exist. All right. I'll come to Gemini. I'll see exclude the profiles table from the SQL code because it already exists. And Gemini is going to give me a new code. So I'll copy this now. And let me just remove this. I want to paste this now. And I'll run this. Now we see is success, no rows return. So if I come back to my table editor or to tables, I want to come to tables. If I come to database, you see we have documents, we have profiles. If I come to tables, you see we have document, we have profiles. And we don't have any information inside there right now. So that is it. So if we add any information into these database tables, then you'll be able to see it here. If I just come back, let me come back a little bit. If I click on profiles, this is a profiles table. You don't see anything there. If I click on documents, this is documents table. You don't see anything there. Now, if we go down a notch, you can see authentication. If you come to authentication, you see we can have policies, sign-in, providers, and all of that. Let's click on policies. So these are policies which we added. I think these are the ones which we added manually. And then this is the one which we added using the SQL editor. And here we can go for sign-in providers. Now you can disable confirm email. We're just going to do a sample project for you to see how all of this works. For us to see Supabase really at work, I'm now at Google AI Studio, and I want to choose the model to be Gemini 3 Pro preview. What I want to do is that I simply want to build a platform where users can come and upload, let's say, documents. They can create an account and upload documents. So I'm just going to pass in the prompt right now. I've given my prompt. I want to create a platform where users can create an account and upload a document. Users will be able to see the document on their dashboard. A basic website where users can come, create an account, and then upload the document. Document can be seen on their dashboard whenever they log. Reason why you see it in points format is because I used the speech to text, I dictated it. So I'll just click on build. When it builds, I'm going to come back to you. Supabase is done doing its thing. This is the only thing, Google AI Studio rather. This is the only problem I see here. This button doesn't, but we can just work with that. I'll just try to sign up first, and then I'll add in my username and my email address here. I noticed that it didn't ask for a password, so I'm going to tell it add for the sign up. You know what? I'll just dictate to it. There's an issue with the platform. First of all, the login button doesn't look too good. The text is white. Meanwhile, the background of the button is white. And also, there should be a password for the login form or for the sign up form. So go ahead and implement those. It's going to put that there, and then I'm going to hit build, and it's going to do its thing. So AI Studio has fixed that. I'll just click on sign up again, and then now I'm going to put in my details. I'm now logged in. I want to upload a document. I'll upload a document from my computer here right now. Now I've uploaded this document, and you see if we log out, let me just refresh this, and then I want to log back in. I'll try to use the same email and password I used. You can see we have the document here. I've logged out, I've logged in, it's still here. But by the time we push this into production, it's not being stored anywhere. So what we need to do is we want to have this stored in Supabase. We want this to be stored in Supabase. So I'm going to tell it, I want to connect Supabase. I can just dictate to that. I'll say I want to connect Supabase to this platform. what I want to do is I want every document to be stored in the Supabase database. So create the necessary tables, the SQL code for the necessary tables, which I can run on Supabase, and it's going to create the table. Also include row level security. And then when it puts the text here, I'm just going to run it. So what it went ahead and did is that it instead did some Supabase, some sort of Supabase configuration, but did not actually give me the SQL code. I would tell it, okay, I need to provide it with some information before it's going to give me that code. I guess I will need to provide project ID, API keys, and project URL. So these three, I'm going to show you how to get them from Supabase. Project URL. I'll go back to Supabase. This is our project. And then if I go back to the project settings, this is the project ID. Let's copy that. And I'll paste that there. The project URL is just the id.supabase.co, but I want us to get it directly. So it should be somewhere. Let's see. Anyways, let's first of all go to data API. You see it's the project id.supabase.co. I'll bring that here. That's the URL. And then for the API keys, go to API keys, and we want to use the legacy role, service role API key. So we'll copy that and I'll paste that there. I'll see these are the Supabase credentials. Ask me if you need anything else. I'll just run that. You see it's showing me demo mode using local storage. Supabase key is not detected. Google AI Studio by default doesn't give you a back end, it gives you a front end. So you need to connect a back end. You can use Firestore, Firebase, and Firestore. You can use Supabase, which we're using now, or the other ones which I showed you at the beginning tutorial. Tells me I've updated the application to use Supabase credentials you provided. And it says make sure to run the commands found in Supabase in your Supabase project SQL. Okay, it gave me in Supabase.sql. I will tell it no. Write out the commands, SQL commands here. So I can copy and paste. In Supabase SQL editor. So this is how you have to go back and forth with Google AI Studio sometimes, because it doesn't get it right the first time in most cases. This is the table it's giving me. I'll just copy all of these from here, copy. I'll go back to my Supabase and I want to go to SQL editor. I'll just run this here and click on run. I hope there's no conflict. Okay, see documents already exist. And what I want to do is I want to go to database, documents table. I'll try to delete this. It's sometimes tricky deleting tables in Supabase, but I'll delete this and then run this again. If you want to do this manually, it's difficult. So I'll just use the SQL editor, drop table document. I'll run that. Yes, it says the following has been detected. So potential it should be detected. I don't know what's that. I will say run this query. And I want to drop that particular table. Success, no rows detected. I will now go back here. If I go to SQL editor or I go to table editor, I'll just go to database. Okay, the table has been deleted. I'll go back now to table editor or SQL editor. I want to run this command again. Run. You should see a success message now. So the tables have been deleted. Go back to tables or just to database. And if I load this, so I have documents table and the profiles table. Now, if I come back, so it's connecting Google AI Studio to Supabase. If I come back and log in now, I should be able to upload a document and I'm going to see it. First of all, I'm going to see my I'm going to see my username on Supabase and I'm going to see my data in Supabase. I've created a new account now. And if I go to authentication, I go to users, I should see, okay, this is the account I've created, this email address, that's that. And if I go now and upload a document, I should be able to see it there. So it says new role violates role level security policy for document. Now, I need to make sure to fix that. I will tell it, um, I am unable to upload documents. When I try to upload the document, I'm told new rule violates role level security policy for document. So please write the SQL code. It's generated me this code. I'll just copy, come back, Supabase, come to SQL editor, and I'm going to paste that there. I'll run again. Yes, I'll run this query. All right. So now if I come back and I'm just going to try to log in with the same email. When I try to log in, it tells me email not confirmed. This is one thing you need to know. Come back to Supabase, go to authentication, and then you see something like multi-factor, multi-factor, multi-factor. Let's go to that. And no, that's not where it should be. Sessions, books, and all of that. Let's go to sign in. Where it says confirm email, you can toggle that off. If you don't want email confirmation, just toggle that on save. Come back here. I'll try to sign in again. Email not confirmed. Reload. Go to build. I'll go back to my project. Or to build, I'll go back to my project.